This episode of Chops is brought to you by Sight Reading Factory.
Sight Reading Factory generates virtually infinite music for students to sight read with customizable difficulty levels to give them exactly what they need. Sheet music is generated on the spot for your ensemble, and individual parts with correct transpositions are sent to students' devices. Sight reading with an ensemble has never been easier.
Okay, Jack, what if it created a rhythm and cut time? 2 quarter notes, 2/8 notes, and a quarter rest. How would that go?
Probably something like this.
Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Peterson.
And I'm Jack Hinkle.
Welcome to Chops Podcast, where we talk about best practices of teaching, knowing your content, and knowing your students. It's called the trifecta. And don't ever say that out loud because it's copyrighted and we'll find it. Actually, it's probably copyrighted from someone else.
Yeah, from someone else, and we're about to get sued.
Or want to be the first time.
Won't be the last.
Okay, so Jack, it has officially ended the marching band season with the Marching Minutemen, and the Concord High School Marching Minutemen placed 5th place at ISMA Open Class B State Finals at Lucas Oil Stadium. Woo!
And not a moment too soon because it is snowing like crazy in Elkhart right now.
Big snow last night. 2-hour delay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And possible for tomorrow, too.
Oh, my gosh. We talked about that in the van ride to state. We're like, this weather's looking dicey on Sunday. Could you imagine?
Exactly. And
yes.
Lo and behold, but the band looks like that the band had a good run on Saturday.
Had a really good run. It was so fun, like walking up, like the tunnel as you walk out.
Yeah.
The tunnel's kind of stupid because it is like so uphill. It's like at a 40-degree angle, and all the pit kids are like dying. They're like, like trying to push everything up the hill. There's like 6 kids to a marimba. They're like, go, go, go.
The season's not done.
And then there's like a flute player just like, just like walking up. But as soon as we got out of the tunnel, I mean, there were just like tears everywhere because the kids were just like so happy and so emotional. I mean, I remember posting the TikTok last year talking about what you experience and feel like in marching band, but I can't describe that emotion that you like once you finish the show for the last time. You're just like overwhelmed, and there's like no other.
Throw in some emotions that you think might be going around.
I mean, joy, triumph, like sorrow in like a it's over kind of way, but I think the biggest one is like we're doing this together, whatever it is. And like, marching band is a simple example of something that it's bigger than yourself, that you're a part of, that you've been working on, and blood, sweat, and tears have been shed for this one, and coming into the final fruition of the final note, and you slam your horn down for the last time. It's like the last thing you care about is the placing. Right. You're happy that you got to do this with your friends at such a high level. And so that's what was going around in the parking lot, and everyone was crying and hugging, and Mr. Golden got the kids together, and he's like, if we could do this right, we just go home right now. It's like, remember this is why you're in band. This is why you stay in band. This is why you love it. It's for this moment right here. All that hard work is for now, not for the awards. I'm really glad you took time to say that. And I think you said something very similar last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the moment, and that was like really fun.
Good.
Really fun.
And then with that, with all that adrenaline and all that hype,
yes,
and all that emotion and all that history, all that time, right?
Yes.
And those battles that the students have won at a personal level and a section level and a band level, and then also just maybe the feeling of like relief. Just like exhaustion, but just kind of like a different, like you've given it all. You've done everything you could, right? And you've been with this activity since the middle of July, and you didn't quit. You kept on coming back for more. You performed a fine product in front of thousands of people on the biggest stage in Indiana, and it worked.
It worked.
And
the kids actually did have a great run. I told Steve this off mic, but there have been some Lucas Oil runs in the past where maybe there's like a slight tempo tear or something just didn't quite click. But after watching the show, I didn't feel like we had that.
That's great.
And that was like really cool. Like we watched the show in the community lecture room today during class, and the kids were like cheering like the whole time, in like an appropriate way, So we wrap up the season just in time because the roads are going to be so dicey. And shout out to all you BOA people in here who are going to continue to rehearse.
Okay, for those of you that don't know, BOA, Bands of America, right? The Grand National Finals is held this weekend at Lucas Oil Stadium, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and close to 100 bands, something like that.
Yeah.
And then they cut it down to 30 bands, and then they cut it down to 14 or something like that. And they come up with a national champion. There's a ton of groups from out of state.
A ton.
Like, there's a fleet of them from Texas and Oklahoma
and
Florida and Georgia and Mississippi and some, I don't know how many from the north, like more north than us, but a ton from obviously from the Midwest. But those bands from Texas that are coming up from Houston, and they fly up, hope everything goes okay with TSA and just travel, getting their flights on time.
Yes.
But going from Houston or San Antonio up here, and you're not outside that much, but you are outside.
Yeah,
and
if you saw outside right now, you'd want to go back to Texas. Trust us. If
We're-
I was that band director, as soon as the plane landed, I'd be like, nope, wheels up, kids. Let's go. Turn this around. Let's go.
Kids, there's a pilot problem, and we're not going to be able to stay here any longer. Okay. And so that's going on this week. So bands are having another week of refinement and rehearsals.
Yep.
But the Concord Marching Minutemen will be in their
Christmas
joggers
spec mode.
and their hoodies
Yes.
this week, and the band directors will be dry.
Yes, and warm. Gosh, yeah. I know there are a lot of Indianapolis bands that perform at BOA too. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, they got some weather too. So, marching band done. Christmas spectacular season is around the corner, and we're going to be
opened.
back. Oh, dude, I'm teaching in the band room this year for this. The high brass are going to be in the band room.
Tell me
I'm
more.
excited. Well, I think it's so loud in that other room in the lobby, so it makes sense to keep the louder instruments in the actual band room. So
Okay.
I get to be a classroom teacher again.
Mm.
You know what they say about classroom teachers, Steve?
You can fire them once, but you can't hire them twice.
That was good.
That's the
That was good. Was that on the spot?
Yeah, I just
Nice
made
job.
that up.
No,
Man.
that's good. So as we look forward to going to the traditional concert band setup, classroom management can look a little different when you're indoors versus outdoors, when you're seated versus standing, when you're 5 feet from your kids as opposed to 500 feet above your kids. It can look different, right?
We don't
Are
say
you?
it's bad or worse. We just say it's different.
That's right. That's right, AP Music Theory, if you're listening. We don't say it's ugly. We say it's different. Yeah.
Unless that's your ex-boyfriend. Okay. He was different and ugly. That's why I broke up with him. Okay.
He's back. He's back. So we wanted to, or maybe I wanted to, and Steve's just like going along for the ride, talk about consistency.
I'm talking about consistency.
Not this, too many syllables. Consistency.
Consistency. Sound like an idiot. Okay.
See, there we go. Steve,
Jack.
are you consistently consistent? How's that? Are you consistent 100% of the time? Are you like always the same Steve Peters, Mr. P, when you're with your kids?
I think I'm the same Mr. P as far as my personality goes. I think they can count on that and take it to the bank.
Nice.
I present pretty much the same way every day.
Okay.
And I actually had a conversation with a student today about how to come into class and how we present and how to try not to look so discouraged when you come into class and so non-welcoming. I think
Like, run it back.
run it back.
Run it back.
We did some role
Set.
play. We did some role playing today about walking into the space and how we respond and how we look.
Yeah,
And
teaching facial expressions is
Right,
meaningful.
and just-
I get it. Yeah.
and you've talked about this before, but just helping students with the consistency as far as like choosing to present a certain way. And I think that's a good one to talk to students about, because as I was talking to a student about presenting consistently positive, I didn't want to seem like it was being insincere, and that if a student's having a hard time, they can't do that. You know, if they're struggling with something, they're allowed to be like,
Yeah.
They're allowed to do that. But also, I think there's certain amount of life that where you just kind of say, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yep.
And obviously, as an adult with experience in education, I have more practice at doing that, and I have, I have a lot of practice, and that I'm able to show that to students. And I'm not saying that if you are having something serious that you're going through, that you're not allowed to present in a negative or sad way, but I just think in general, it's good to have kind of some things that we're working through, and you're presenting as positive, and a smile, looking people in the eye, a handshake or something. That is an example of like consistency that students will get from me.
And I think it's really important that students see that being modeled from their teachers. And this is a hard one for me to try and teach, because when you talk about that stuff, it's really hard to not sound like self-righteous about it.
Yep. That's a good point, Jack.
And I've used like you as an example to my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I've used other kids, but like that never hits well. And I want to figure that one out.
Right, because it feels like you're like comparing them
Right,
or
and you don't
pitting
wanna
them
do
against
that.
each other.
And you don't want to like flip it the other way to be like, what if I came in here and I was tired all the time and I'd act like I didn't care like that? It's really hard to authentically do it well with not.
See, Jack, you just like you just ripped open the envelope of teacherness, because some people would be like, they would say that in their classroom. What if I came in here acting grumpy all the time? You wouldn't go for that, you know.
I'm sure people say
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
But
like,
that's not me.
I know. You're a good teacher, Jack. I know.
Well, they can be good teachers too. Yeah.
I know, but you're self-reflective. He told me to say that. I'm being... This compliment of Jack Hinkle is brought to you today by Shure Microphones. As sure as Jack said it, must be true.
I like 2-hour delay, Steve.
Yeah.
You had 2 hours to come up with some riffs. That was good.
No, but I'm serious. But if you're I don't care how old you are, okay? I'm not discriminating about age, okay? Don't
Preach it, bro. Just get to the point. Grab the water while it's fresh.
Okay. Jack is evaluating his own teaching methods at a consistent level, and he's like wondering if this tactic is like too self-righteous. Like he's questioning himself on that.
Voices in my head. Okay, you've been doing this a lot, and it makes me feel it makes me feel grateful for you, and I think you're very smart. This comment is also brought to you by Shure Microphones, because if Steve said it, we're sure it's right. That's a good one. Secondly, it's like you're thinking at stuff at a higher level than me. Okay, when I was a first-year teacher, I'd use words that were big, and you'd always be like, class, now do we know what this means? And I'm like, God, do I need to calm this down? Now I feel this way on the podcast because I'm making concept, because you're like breaking down the concepts, and I'm like, I'm glad you're like doing that. Because you're breaking down what I'm talking about. You're like, you're reflecting, and that's like what we're doing.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you.
Okay.
But back to the question at hand. How do you do that effectively? How do you teach and model the example of being a consistent teacher, because you want your kids to be consistent too? How do you effectively like teach that without being self-righteous?
Okay, I think this is where it helps coming into the situation with a little bit of money in the bank already. Like there have been some emotional deposits,
Yeah.
right? And there's a little bit of trust or warmth or understanding
Yeah.
or respect. RESPECT. That's respect. So like using that example saying, you know, you look really miserable when you come into you look
Just
miserable.
being honest,
Just
you
being-
look like you hate everything, including me.
You know, you're coming into this space, our space, and you present really negatively. And so the way I used
What do you
it,
think that does to me?
yeah, it makes me feel awful. And there's a teacher shortage already.
So don't make me leave, because I'll do it. I'll pull the plug.
So the way I handled it today, and I invite you into this role playing and role reversal because it's funny. It's funny when they try to act like Mr. P and they're like, well, good morning. How are you? And then I put my hood up and go,
Wait, can you do it with the? You got a video. Good morning. How are you?
you know, and you don't have to say much more than you don't have to say much more than that. And it gets the point across because then they're the teacher and you're the student and it's like boom. It's like all there. It's like a Popeye. It's there all for you.
Do they actually growl?
They're snarling of lips and they're not mean kids. It's not like get out of my it's like I just woke up from a 5-year nap.
It's always
I'm
the morning.
Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah.
They're like, I don't do mornings. Like, well, what if I told
Oh
you
wait,
you'd
no,
be like this no matter?
I want to clarify. It's not Rumpelstiltskin. It's Rip Van Winkle. A Wrinkle in Time. Sorry for all those drama literary peeps out there. Boom, self-roasted. Okay, go ahead.
It's always about time. It's like, oh, it's the morning. I can't. Like, what if I told you you'd be like this no matter what time school started?
Right, because let's go through the other times. Early morning. After breakfast. Before lunch. After lunch. 10 minutes before the bell.
It just gets louder as you
It's
go.
just like, and then 10 minutes after the bell, you're like, I'm okay now. Right?
Yeah. After the bell, it's like,
Woohoo! Resurrection,
go to
baby.
Martin's?
Resurrection, baby. Right?
That's so true. So I would like to do that effectively. I would like to teach that effectively. But I agree with you. I think humor is a really good tool for that. I think it's a really good tool for that.
Right.
I will put that one in the tool belt as I go further.
And we're talking more. Okay, are we just talking about this idea of?
Did you not read the show notes?
No, I didn't. I've been really busy today.
Yeah, you had 2 extra hours that you
Slept.
and
Okay.
drank coffee
So-
wearing your UK pajamas.
Chicago Bears. Hello,
Excuse me, they're
Meyer.
right.
You know
Bears
the-
today produced pajamas
But you
on
know what, though?
Tuesdays.
You ever watch Breaking Bad?
No.
You never watched Breaking
Dude,
Bad?
we've been over this so many times. I cannot get into it. It's too gross and it's too weird. I said the W word. I didn't say different. I'm going to weird.
Oh,
It's too weird.
Jesse Pinkman, the side character with Mr. White, wears these big baggy pants all the time. He's like, yo, Mr. White. And I wear these blue and orange plaid pants, and they're kind of like oversized. And I'm always like, yo, Mrs. P, what up?
Well, you're getting the goatee back. And
Yeah.
about this time last year, you had a student say, you look kind of gangster. You look like Walter White. And that's when we said Walter White is not a gangster. Because you were wearing the sweater vest that day and like the purple
That is
plaid.
true. Well, it was post marching band, and so it's getting colder, and I'll do this for 1 or 2 weeks. and-
Walter White is not a gangster. That was a fun episode. Okay, here's where I wanted to go with consistency. I think this is what you were asking
'Kay.
earlier before I roasted you in the pajamas. Consistency is you, but also consistency in your expectations, or maybe your rules, if we want to be a little more simple.
behaviors.
I don't think I'm the same. I'm not the same Mr. Hinkle from class to class, and I don't want to be. Is that a hot take? I don't want to
Oh
teach
my-
marching band like I teach jazz band. I can't do that.
Oh,
I definitely can't teach piano like I teach marching band. Let me tell you.
oh wow, that's such a great statement. I don't want to teach my classes the same, because then I'm like, well, then what are you? Who are you? What is the same? What makes Mr. Hinkle Mr. Hinkle? So are you not sincere, or is it the subject matter just so different? And I understand what you're saying, but then there's the trolls out there in the interweb and the dark web that are like, you must be the same. You must be authentic.
Who are you?
Right?
Show me. Say his name. There's my
I think that's
reference for you.
I think that's a really good question. So I'm going to let you chew on that one.
Well, are you the same Mr. Peterson when you were teaching different groups of kids in different classes? Were you did you run it the same way?
no. Silly. I think from jazz band to class piano to AP theory to wind ensemble to marching band.
Yeah.
I would say the energy fluxed,
Mm-hmm.
the volume fluxed. But you teach different when you're like in front of kids. Like in front of kids.
Right.
Like where you could like throw a wadded up piece of paper at them. Like they're right in front of you, as opposed to being up in the marching band tower
Right.
on a microphone.
Right.
The same side jokes or the side comments or the details and the inflection right in front of a jazz band working in a hushed tone does not work on a football field mic.
This is true. This is true. Is that so? So you're saying it's good. You should have different. You should have multiple personalities. No, not multiple personalities. Multiple. Jack, back it up. Jack, reel that one in, buddy. You can't get that one back.
That is not a good
Multiple expectation levels. Like the kids. So like if you had a student that was a shared kid, like between 5th hour and 7th hour, like that was in jazz band and marching band with you, they would expect a different classroom procedure and a different set of expectations from Mr. Peterson. That's what I'm asking, right?
Yeah.
Like you're the same, you're still the same guy, but what you tolerate in one may not be the same toleration level in another.
Okay, I see what you're saying. That I don't know, that kind of blew my mind though when you said it, because I think it's true. Then I was like, how does that work? I think it does work.
Because like kids, I believe that kids are different from class to class. I don't believe that. I know that. Like you might have a student that in their 3rd hour, they will never talk. And in their 4th hour, they're a chatty Cathy.
Yes.
Right? So if the kids can do that, well, that's like how they behave. But I'm different. But the kids know that when they walk into 3rd hour, like they know what their role is. And when they walk into 4th hour, they know what their role is. Because that 3rd hour teacher might be like no talking at all. Like super strict, like you may not talk. So they don't. 4th hour might be a little more okay with some of that stuff. Or maybe it calls for it. You know, if it's like an art class where you're working independently, but you can have conversation, something like that. Or maybe they have a lot of friends in 4th hour and they don't know a lot of people in 3rd. But when a student walks into that 3rd period room, they take on the persona of 3rd period so-and-so. And then they walk into 4th hour, they're a different person. It's like kids always have friends in classes, like their 4th hour friend. But if they see each other in the hallway, they like totally ignore each other.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
So I have different expectations, like in marching band. Like if I'm working with my section, I am pretty demanding that they don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
And that they look at me, like always.
Mm-hmm.
I don't run the same way with jazz band. If I'm teaching the whole group, I want them looking at me and not talking, but I don't want it to feel militaristic like marching band.
Mm-hmm.
But they're different. It's like different subjects, and marching band's rooted in military. If jazz was rooted in military, I think we wouldn't be able to swing.
No. You'd have Yeah, I was trying to make a joke, but the surf went out. Okay.
I'm sure it'll come to you.
Yay!
We're gonna get good mileage about this. Okay, is it okay to be different levels of consistency in different groups?
Yes.
Yes.
But
Steve
here's what I
doesn't
was
think I'm
thinking about
stupid.
was I don't think you're stupid, Jack.
But
I was thinking about this, like being at the doorway of your class, whether it was jazz band, music theory, marching band, Aspire. Being at the doorway as the students come in, greeting them, would that greeting look any different?
ooh.
No. It's not going to be different. You're still going to be Mr. Hinkle. You're going to still have your same way that you say hello to students and acknowledge students as they come into your class, regardless of how many kids there are.
That's because it's like human to human.
Yes.
It's not like teacher to student at that point.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. I'm with you.
But then here's the punchline.
Punch it.
You have to be consistent with the inconsistencies between classes.
Unscrew this and drop it really quick.
Mic drop.
Yeah,
Okay,
there
you have
go.
to be consistent with the inconsistencies,
Mm,
right?
yeah. So they know.
Yes.
Yeah. That's good.
And I think that could be confusing as a student. It could be confusing as a teacher to have those, but I think it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's possible to be consistent with the inconsistencies. Yeah, you're talking policy or, I hate to use the word behavior, but yeah, from marching band to jazz band or AP theory, which is traditionally a smaller group, that I always wanted the comments.
Yes.
That didn't override me and were not rude, but there was a
Yeah,
dialogue,
it's
engagement going on in the class. And I thought that was helpful for the energy to move forward.
Yes.
And like music theory, if kids would be like, well, why does this work and this doesn't work over here? And then in marching band, you don't have the same rapport with the kids during the instructional time because they're so far away and you're
there's
not
a blue million of
and
them
there's
too.
a lot of them, and so
Yeah.
you're not taking questions like at an independent level.
Right.
It's more like figure it out on your own. We're going to help you with the big blocks here,
Yes.
and you work on the details. Kinda ish. I mean, it's somewhat. So I think that's a part of it that you want to grow the culture that you want to see in that
Yeah.
class at the end of the semester.
Yes.
And I know we've had this discussion, you and I, with wind ensemble to jazz band. Jazz or wind ensemble, I preferred to have it silent. And I just thought that helped the energy of the room when there's 70 people and you're working on something. I'd like the intensity of the silence. But then in jazz band, I wasn't always comfortable with the silence because I kind of used that more as a barometer. I wanted to get that feedback because it was a smaller section of kids. So I'm imagine this, if you're working, it's different. If you're a grade school teacher, you work the same class all day,
and doing the same kind of thing. It's like you're teaching content.
You're teaching content. So are you the same though when you teach reading as when you teach math?
Dude, I feel like that could be a whole other podcast, right?
Yeah.
Because 16-year-olds are a little better with social cues than 6-year-olds, right?
Right.
And I feel like a lot of that. I mean, I never talked about that with my kids. I have about 15 kids. I have 3 of my 5 classes a day.
15 of them have 3 of the 5 classes.
Yeah.
Woo!
It's a lot of kids. So I say hi to that same group of kids 3 times a day. Hey again. Hey, see you in 2 hours. Hey, it's every day. But those kids, I think I've never talked to them like, hey, I'm going to be a different Mr. Hinkle in your first period versus your second versus your third. Like, I never say that, but I think they figure it out. But they're smart enough to, and I think that works. But, you're right. There are different expectations that I want to put in place, and I want to create different cultures based on the ensemble or class I'm working with. I agree with you. Something I also think about, Steve, and I know we've talked about this too, building relationships, which supposedly we believe is important on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole third of the trifecta,
Mm-hmm.
so we clearly value it. I like talking to individuals during my classes, and I wonder if that's bad or not. Like, if I'm teaching something and then a kid makes a comment, I might just talk to that kid for 10 seconds or so. Because I want to do that. Do you do that?
Yeah.
You've done that, right?
Absolutely.
I always wonder about that, how
But-
that hits. If, like, that kid's in the front, the kid I'm talking to is in the front row, and there's, like, kids in the back row.
You're like talking about piano?
Or like AP theory. There's a kid that sits, I stand off to the left with the piano, and there's a kid that, like, sits right there, and so I'm not as close to those kids. Or in jazz band, you talk to the saxophones who are right up in front of you, and maybe the trumpets don't hear.
Oh, absolutely.
I think about that all the time. All the time. Like, do I need to shut up? Like, am I ruining the environment right now because the trumpets aren't listening to this one-on-one combo?
Well, okay, band directors, who sits in the front row?
The flutes.
Band directors, who sits in the back row?
Percussion.
Right. Traditionally, who are the best behaved students in the band?
The flutes.
Who are the ones that struggle with when to keep things quiet?
The percussion.
Okay, so we're talking about a geographic distance here, right? And like last year in wind ensemble,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Last year in wind ensemble, in the front row, like right in front of me on left nostril, right nostril, right? I had kids that were all over it, like were nailing stuff all the time.
I know. I think they laughed at the thoughts I had in my head. That I didn't say. That's how much they were with
they
me.
were into every little nuance of the class, and they had like a passing comment, but it
Always
was not it was not disturbing. And it could be like with handing out things or collecting things or I don't know, but they had more of an inside track of what was going
Yes.
on in the energy of the rehearsal. They were very perceptive, and they enjoyed that kind of riffing back and forth. And God bless the trombones. I mean, okay, trombone players are kind of like your kids in right field, right? You know,
Literally, they
like
do
I mean,
sit in right
they're
field.
just out there in right field, and
Yeah.
they kind of have their own little system back there, their own little culture, their own little village, their own little economics.
Yeah, there's always something getting passed around,
Right.
like slide grease or like. Do you
Exactly.
really need that right now?
But
Like,
because they're 4 rows back, it's a different kind of relationship. So if you're a grade, let me go, I'm cooking. Okay, if you're a grade school teacher, you come up with the seating chart. And we come up with seating charts too, but it's not usually based on attention deficit. It's not based on skill or mastery or language or hearing, or it's based on what instrument you play. That dictates where you sit. So we kind of almost like groom the culture, the expectations. You're back in the back row, so trombones, you're going to act like really weirdos. Okay, and then flutes, you're going to sit here, and we want you to act perfect because we hear everything. But if you're, am I right?
Keep going.
Okay, but if you're a 3rd grade teacher, you create the seating chart. So you're able to put the A+ student in the 4th row, shun them, and put them in the back, but then also you're able to reel in the student that's out in the hallway on a daily basis, and you put them right next to your desk. So you're creating, like, I'm imagining in grade school, maybe it's not the same, because like if you have that inner circle by your desk, that may be not a good thing, because those are the kids that are like on the most wanted behavior list, right? And they're like sitting next to you, but you got your...
Smith, why do I always sit a foot away from you?
But then the kids that are like the fan favorites are sitting 4 rows from you, because
Why do you always put me in the back? I pay attention so well. Right.
it's like it's like reverse of band.
Well, okay. I have a couple thoughts. I just kicked the desk so hard. I have a couple thoughts about this. One, we should just tell the parents at instrument tryout night the kid's future. Oh, you're going to pick percussion? Okay, so in 5 years, this is how it's going to look. Your kid's going to forget their music all the time. They won't talk to us. They won't make eye contact. They're going to fidget constantly.
If they have anything in their hand, they'll drop it at least 3 times a rehearsal.
And they're going to be air drumming and drumming on their chest, on their legs constantly for the next 7 years. Are you sure you want this? Then like the flute players come in. Okay, so your kid is going to have the best posture ever. They're going to have really good grades.
And when they raise their hand, it's going to be straight
Up. And they're going to always make eye contact. Okay, French horn. Okay, yep, come on in. Okay, so your kid's going to have a really good grade point average, like really good. Okay?
Awkward socially, but
Yeah, they don't talk a lot to the people left and right of them, but they're very kind people. They're going to have about 6 cats in their future, so they're going to be fine. Trumpet, just turn around. Just go home. Pick something else. They're going to be loud. They're going to think they're better than everybody else. This isn't going to go well. Sorry. Okay.
So if you're not a music educator, if you're not a band director, like Jack just kind of went down the stereotypes. I mean, it's everybody's got those stereotypes with those instruments. Relatively similar from band to band, to state to state.
It's pretty
and
true.
when you go to listen to other teachers talk, they talk about the same thing.
And again, these are stereotypes. These are not statements I'm making about any particular students. Disclaimed. Don't come at me. It's a stereotype. Also, there's a parallel universe out there right now.
Oh, I know.
Where the percussion sit up front and it's reversed.
Yes.
And the flute kids are all the troublemakers and the percussionists are like the locked in ones with like great posture, always like at ready position like this. That exists in some parallel universe. Everything's flipped around.
That would be a wild dream
The
to
trumpet
have.
players are like super humble.
And
The French horn
kind,
players
yeah.
are not intelligent. Gosh. The saxophone's reeds are just always pristine.
Yeah, the trombone folders are not like all tattered and ripped across the top. They actually are look like a flute one.
The mutes have never been dropped. There's a pencil on every brass kid's stands.
Yeah.
The tubas don't look at their reflection in the bell. Oh,
That's why some of them have gone cross-eyed.
I
had
that's why they picked it.
I had a friend / graduate assistant in college that was cross-eyed, that played tuba, and it was because of the tuba that he went cross-eyed.
He told you that?
Yes. I want to say his name, but I don't want to get into it. But like one of my friends dated him. Like she was like an underclassman and dated him. And when you looked at Bob, you couldn't always see which eye was looking at you. But it was because growing up, he had spent so much time playing the tuba and he couldn't quite, he was looking through the tuba and one eye just got lazy and Bob lost control of one eye. Wow. I digress. Gosh, we're all over the place. We're talking about consistency.
We're talking about consistency, and here
Okay,
we are not being very consistent.
we talked about stereotypes of instrument players.
That's real.
That is real. Okay, good. But we're going back to the big picture. Are you consistent from class to class? And are you
consistent with your own expectations? That's the money. That's the money question, right? Let me back it up. The money question is, are you consistent with your expectations all the time in each class?
No.
Me either, dude. I should be. But I won't be 100%.
No, you shouldn't be.
I want to be more. Wait, why shouldn't I be consistent with my expectations?
You should be, but those expectations won't be similar from class to class to class to class.
No. I'm talking about like within one.
Within one. Okay. Yes, you should be consistent.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I think it's hard. I'm just going to say it. I'm saying it, Steve. I think it's hard to be consistent with expectations.
Say it.
It's hard to be consistent with my expectations. There's a lot of reasons, though. It's not like I'm afraid to enforce them.
You sure?
You sure, Jack? You sure, buddy?
Sure.
You sure? This is like so paradoxical for me because I talk about
a lot of smack.
I'm talking about
about
process.
Oh,
No, process.
okay, go ahead.
That's like my thing with the high brass. Like I talk about the process, and that's like my marching band call. It's like that's my motto, and I talk to them about it a lot. I don't talk about it with my other classes because I don't feel the same way.
Right.
But I do believe that if with the way we go about things is really good, the things we do are going to be pretty good. But I get so caught up in like rehearsing the music, and then I'm like, I need to come back to that, and then I like forget about it. So I need to slow down when I do that and come back to it and talk about it. That's why I think it's hard.
Okay. Maybe this would be a good bridge comment. I find, going through those different classes that there needs to be a time where the veil comes up and you're like, hey, it's still Mr. Peterson back there. Okay. And I thought a person that was really good at this was Scott Spradling. Okay. Because Scott liked to have a good joke in the class or keep things moving along.
Yeah.
And he wasn't afraid to get after the kids. But he did a good job of trying to get that same sense of humor or playfulness like in a marching band rehearsal that kind of livened things up.
Yes.
And that was consistent.
Yeah.
That he did like through the different classes of just a little humor that made people go, huh? Like that was kind of funny.
Yes.
And maybe some banter going on. But that was kind of like him lifting up the veil and saying, I'm still here.
Yes. And the best part about that is that he taught the kids how to laugh and how to go back.
Yes.
I can remember as a 6th grader in his band, he said, like, I'm going to make jokes and then I won't. You got to think of it as like you're at the Cartoon Network and then we're switching back to CNN. Like you got the funny, but now we're back to business, and you got to go with me on those.
Yeah.
And that was like one, that's a pretty good analogy for a 12-year-old, but two, like, no, like you're teaching the skill. You're teaching the skill. And I think that's great.
I do too. I think that's a wonderful example from Cartoon Network to CNN. And as long as you're consistent in your class for that time period. And I think that's the important thing. And I think in the midst of being consistent is that authenticity to yourself as a teacher. And like you're authentic to your values and your personality, and you're not trying to be somebody you're not.
Boom. Exactly. That's it.
Okay, is this when you say, I'm going to go eat dinner?
No, dude, because I can go home.
I know.
I get
This
to
is
go
exciting.
home tonight.
It's 5:09, and you don't have to go smash a burrito bowl.
Oh, thank goodness.
You get to go home
I'm
tonight.
going to go home. I don't even know what we're going to make. But you know what the best thing is? We have food in our fridge. It's not like 20 to-go containers pre-cooked, stacked. There's like real food to cook. It's a good time.
This is great.
This is great. This is just great. So, if you're listening and you haven't subscribed, please do. If you're listening and you aren't following TikTok, Instagram, what else do we have? We have Facebook now or YouTube.
YouTube.
Go follow. If you haven't rated or reviewed us, please do both, because that really helps the podcast.
Sidebar. Appreciate some questions I've gotten over the week. Like some come through social media, but some have come through email. And there's been some really good discussions I've enjoyed. So happy to be of help or just be a sounding board. But there have been some fun discussions going on about best practices as some of the content we've had. And that's been appreciated.
Yep. So if you have any questions, comments, complaints, send them all to Steve.
All to me, I'll
All
take
to
all the
Steve.
downers, give all the puppies and daffodils to Jack.
That's how we
Okay, so for Steve Peterson,
And Jack Hinkle.
we're out of here.